So let's say you found a skeleton. How would you tell it's a dinosaur? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.
Hey everybody, welcome. Oh, what an early. We got an early Mothra. Okay, check it out from Mothra. We are here for Matt with Maddie number 43. Noah's Ark would burn and Matt can't solve it. Now here's the thing. I know that title implies that we're going to be talking a lot about the heat problem. I don't actually know if that's true because I also don't actually know what Matt's about to say next. So basically, all of the titles for streams are based on what I kind of remember him talking about before. And maybe that'll continue, and I don't know. But I do find it very amusing that his solution to the heat problem was don't worry about it. The ocean water will absorb the heat, which is like, no, Matt, that's the problem.
Yeah.
The ocean can't absorb all that heat without boiling.
Yeah,
So-
the ocean is part of the system we're concerned about.
Right.
You have to you have to remove the heat from the system. The ocean is part of the system. It can't absorb the heat. It can just move it around inside the system.
Yeah, it's like saying don't worry about getting burned in a fire. Your skin will absorb the heat.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Wait a minute, that's what I'm worried about.
Vandalia for $5 says it's been 10 years to the day that we had flying cars and hoverboards, all kind of Back to the Future 2 technology, like dehydrated pizzas. And what a wonderful world it has been since we got hoverboards and, flying cars. And I guess we could have dehydrated pizzas, like just get a dehydrator and stick a pizza in there. No one can stop you.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would want to. So, yes, I am in my human suit today. No, we didn't hit a funding goal that resulted in this. Here's what actually happened. I set up the green screen. Spoiler alert, I'm not actually on a Star Trek bridge. I know. Very disappointing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. But yeah, I had set it up for a different thing that I was going to do on Sunday, but that fell through. And then...
Oh, hey, that wasn't my fault.
It wasn't your fault,
It
no.
falling through wasn't my fault.
It being scheduled was your fault.
Yes.
Okay. Which is a weird way to put it, because I was enthusiastic for it, not like...
I was enthusiastic too. It's
okay. Anyway.
I couldn't wait that late to start.
Yeah, no, I was similarly uninterested in waiting all that long to start, so don't worry about it. But yeah, basically then, the next day, I was like, I don't want to take down the green screen, I'm lazy. And so I justified it by saying, I know, if I just use it today, then I can say, I just didn't take it down because I was going to use it today. So,
yeah, there you go.
Literally, I am in my human suit because I'm lazy. That's it. So, yeah, you guys are getting this...
That is a little bit like my toddler currently refuses to take off her ballet shoes.
That's adorable.
Yeah, because you never know when you have to be a ballerina, so you gotta have them ready.
You know, like, maybe there's a flash mob that happens and she just wants to dance along. It could happen. I mean...
We played, a freeze dance game. There's, like, a song, like, a toddler dance song, where it, no, now you have to, like, tiptoe like a ghost and fly around like a witch. And stop
tiptoe?
when I say... Listen, we're doing specific ballet moves. Toddler, like, dance move, which is, like, walk on your tiptoes, march, some, like, gross motor skills that are important for toddlers to learn.
Oh, that's fair.
Right? Is what we're doing, but they tried to make it spooky, and then you, like, stop because he says freeze, and then they change what you're supposed to do, and oh my goodness, that was the most entertaining, fun game you could possibly imagine.
It does sound very cute.
Yeah, it was just real fun. So.
Alright, for 100 Argentinian pesos, Sassed by Chesh says, what you call a heat problem, my cats like to call a heat opportunity. Very nice. So, we are here primarily to talk about Raw Mat, but there are ways to get us not to. Obviously, Super Chats usually derail us, And we do have a super chat goal. It is at 30. At 30, we're just going to stop caring about Matt for a little while. And by that, I mean the rest of the stream. And we're just going to do nerd stuff. And I don't know what that entails, but we're going to talk about whatever nerdy stuff we're up to that we want to reveal. Because if we're not ready to go public about it yet, that's okay. But also, if we get to 15 on there, I will give away a Steam key for Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine Anniversary Edition. So this is the original Space Marine game that introduced us to Captain Titus of the Ultramarine Second Company, which is weird because the Second Company already has a different captain. But I think what happened was, originally they were just going to make him some other captain, but then they realized no one ever paints or plays or even sees the other companies, right? Like third or fourth company. Sometimes you see some first company, but they're just mixed in with the second company whenever you see that. Yeah. And so they just didn't want to change the color scheme because, I mean, let's be honest, the blue and the gold is a really good color scheme, even though I'm not a huge fan of the Ultramarines. And so they were like, well, I guess we'll just make him the second company captain, and it's in an alternate timeline or something. I'm like, okay, cool, I don't care. Whatever. It's still a fun game. And it's got orcs, who are hilarious, as long as you're not actually meeting them in real life. Because, you know, they quickly go from hilarious comic relief characters to horrifying monsters out of your worst nightmares if you have to actually deal with them. So, you know. Anyway, yeah. If we do get that Steam key dropped, please remember, you do not have to have super chatted for it. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to be a patron. All you have to do is be in chat and copy it into your Steam account as quickly as possible, and you can get it. There's absolutely no purchase necessary. There's no requirement of support. Just be here. And the only thing that I ask, if you get the key, at me to tell me that you got it. And if you try it and it didn't work because someone else already got it, tell me that. Because the thing I really hate is when I have no idea if someone claimed the key. That's the worst. I don't want that. So, yeah, there you go. And if we get to the full funding goal to 100%, there will be a second Steam key, and it is for Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, which is a RPG. So there's a turn-based combat RPG, lots of dialogue trees. I think you can romance like half the NPCs in the game or something. So, like, you know, that's your deal. Even the Filthy Xenos apparently is a romance option. So, there you go. Let's see. Roshna says, blue and gold like Ukrainian flag and orcs like Russian troops. The Ukrainian part might work, and orcs are far scarier than Russian troops. For one thing, they don't tend to surrender as a result of a psychological warfare campaign. Yeah, so there's that. Whereas Russian troops seem to do that a fair bit. And also sometimes they shoot at and get shot by their allies, which is why the North Koreans are no longer really in the fight there. Because, yeah, there was like no liaising with like translators. So they were all just doing their own crazy thing. And of course, the North Korean troops are trained worse than the Russian combat troops that are just rushed in from the countryside in Russia. Because North Korea doesn't actually train soldiers for war. It trains them for domestic operation and marching and loyalty.
Yeah, parades.
Yeah.
I had a joke. Oh, and sometimes the Ukrainian people call your mom.
That's true.
And tell her to come pick you up.
Usually after you've been captured as a prisoner of war, but yes, sometimes that does happen.
Yeah.
Which anyway, what Matt has been talking to us about is clams who were buried above dinosaur tracks, which, by the way, already doesn't make sense because the dinosaur tracks are left in mud, and mud takes a long time to actually compress down so that it can lithify. And if you dump a bunch of other sediment on top of that mud before it lithifies, the tracks are going to get erased. So already that doesn't make sense. And then he's saying that the reason that clams are preserved with burrows and in the closed position is because they were trying to burrow up to escape the additional falling mud. Which, I mean, okay, except that the clam traces are usually not just vertical. There's usually significant horizontality going on there. Also, finding clams in the closed position, if they're preserved underground, is what you would expect, regardless of the speed of the deposition. And also, none of the depositional environments seem to indicate super high energy. And on the occasions that they do, it tends to indicate a slump rather than just deposition from in the water column. So you'll get these like lateral or diagonal marks in the stone that indicates that there was basically an undersea landslide, which is called a slump. So yeah, it's a whole lot of really dumb stuff from Matt.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
We haven't gone over the drinking rules.
Yeah, I was about to after I read this $5 super chat.
Okay, read the $5 super chat, and then I'm gonna try to remember all the drinking rules off the top of my head.
All right, good luck. Lieutenant Matt, Observer. Oh, it's changed, so now I have to go switch over to this window, which of course they won't let me because YouTube's new studio layout is kind of broken. Okay, Lieutenant Matt, Observer of Geostationary Crucifixion for $5 says, you can romance the NPCs? Aren't they worried about getting sued by Jack Thompson? Oh, right, he's disbarred. Yes, you can in fact romance at least some of the NPCs. I think my last playthrough, I played as the female rogue trader, and I know that at least like the Inquisition interrogator is romanceable. I think the Eldar Ranger is romanceable, and I think there's a couple others. I don't know. I don't remember all of them, but I do remember there being a lot of romance options. If that's one of your things for role playing games that you like. Okay, Maddie.
Yes. Okay. 1, we've already done this one. We're gonna take a drink anytime Mothra or other kaiju come by audibly.
Yes.
2, we'll take a drink anytime anyone super chats something to the effect of AIG is a bag of dicks. And my favorite is when it's alliterative, so you get bonus points from Maddie that mean nothing if you can use alliteration. 3, we'll also take a drink anytime anyone super chats or membership milestone chats what the kaiju emojis of the Mothra or the Godzilla or the peoples.
King Ghidorah, yep.
King Ghidorah, that's the other one. We'll do that. And if somebody gifts memberships, we'll take a drink for each gifted membership, unless it's absurd and would kill us, and then we'll probably just finish our drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we'll take a drink anytime Dapper makes a mistake. We'll take a drink for Dapper as a professional. That has to be an actual mistake he makes, not an act of God or YouTube, which are, the same thing. Okay, 6 is we'll take a drink anytime Ramat says something that's so stupid we just have to cool off our brains. 2, we'll also take a drink anytime he says something that is true and that information comes from his own brain and not a quote. If he can say something true and factual. 3, we'll take a drink anytime Ramat references a particular political party that's unfortunately relevant right now. That was maybe originally relevant in Germany in the 30s. 4, this is more of a Matt Powell thing, but we also take a drink if he just pivots hard into Columbine or school shootings.
Yeah. Or transphobia.
Or transphobia, yeah. Okay. 10. Trojan source. We'll take a drink if Ramat cites a source.
Which he never does.
Source not support what he just said, but it fully contradicts it. It says the opposite of what he's claiming it says. Okay, there's also the one where if he claims we don't know something about Australopithecus because we don't know something about Lucy, right? Or we don't know something about Lucy or her higher taxa because of just Lucy, right? We're we have other specimens, team. Did I get them all?
Not quite. So that one, by the way, is called Ad Hominid, and we can only do it once per stream.
Right, Ad Hominid.
Because once they do it once, they just keep doing it for a very long time, and I don't want to just chug the rest of my drink. We also have one where if Ramat tells a joke that doesn't land, or a story that didn't happen, we'll take a drink for that. We'll also take a drink if either of us can successfully predict his next argument when it's not very, very obvious, which again, judgment call. But I believe that does cover it right there.
Yeah.
All right, we have a few things to read. Gordon Loves Science for $19.99 says, "Great to see the face behind the voice. Thank you. It's great to be seen." Yes, this is in fact my human suit. It's very realistic. I use technology from Exporicophalopatorius to get into it because I'm too big to fit inside normally. Regios, who's been a member for 60 months, my goodness, sends a membership chat that says just Mothra and King Ghidorah emoji. So we'll take a couple drinks for that. Well, one drink for that. Sorry.
So much.
And then gives 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships. So we'll take 5 more drinks.
Cheers. Mm.
This is minty. I'm having a mojito.
Mm. I'm having an Oktoberfest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, Borkenpori in all caps says she missed the prediction rule. Yes, she did.
My bad. Thanks, team.
It's some watch team backup right there.
Yeah. Wow. What good Watchstander principles, Dapper.
Yeah, I know. The next thing is though we got to work on their communication. I'm seeing absolutely no verbatim repeat back.
Oh man, no formality.
Yeah, no
Wow.
formality. Actually, if you guys start doing verbatim repeat back, I would absolutely hate it. So please don't do.
Yeah.
Look, there's a time and a place, and I have used it since the Navy, and it was specifically when playing Star Trek Bridge Crew with Jordan from Reason to Doubt, and we instituted verbatim repeat back for orders, and it was extremely effective. Because that game is just standing watch, but on a starship in a Star Trek franchise.
Oh my gosh.
Maddie, it was amazing.
Listen, not everything the Navy does is stupid for no reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Look, I don't enjoy verbatim repeat back, but in a situation where it's effective, it is effective.
Yeah.
And that is one of them. That video game is one, because when I tell the helmsman to go to a heading and he repeats back the exact heading I want, I know he's received that order and is about to start doing it.
Yup. Have you seen I think the reactor is critical. The Facebook group makes them, but there are little stickers of like goblins doing the watchstanding principles.
I don't think I have seen that. No.
They're so good. It's like
That sounds
outrageous ownership or I'm gonna find a picture and I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Okay, I might have to check it a little bit later, but yeah, please do. Okay, we have Minigeeky Platypus Librarian for $5 says, "Actually awake for magnificent Maddie. Sleep still beckons bedtime. We'll do Wednesday watching while working. AIG are a flaccid phalli in a fanny pack, and we'll take a drink. Thank you very much."
Thank you. Thank you for alliteration.
And then Dutch, the Place of Hostilities Tunicate for $2 says, "Drink for my gecko's tail. She's fine." Yeah, Dutch Tunicate's lizard's tail dropped. So here's a drink for the Godzilla. And for your poor gecko's tail. She'll be okay though. Geckos like to drop their tails. Mine didn't. I feel kind of like lucky on that one. But all right, Maddie, are you okay? I'm gonna rephrase this.
No, I know what you're gonna say. Listen, I'm not gonna be more ready than I am right now.
Okay, here we go.
Now tell me, do you think that was accomplished over millions of years?
Yes.
Or a giant water catastrophe?
No, because that's physically impossible. We know that for almost infinite reasons. In fact, just earlier, I think over the weekend, the science friends were running through more heat problem numbers.
Yeah, they're bad.
And we're talking like millions of degrees Celsius increase the temperature of the Earth. And that's before we get to the accelerated nuclear decay that Matt believes in.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, no, Matt. No. If the Earth heats up by a few million degrees Celsius, I don't think there's going to be a watery catastrophe. I think there's going to be a plasma-y catastrophe.
Yeah.
And that a wooden boat.
Have an Earth.
Yeah.
Like,
No, you just have an expanding gas cloud. And it's not even gas, it's plasma. So, like, yeah. It's... I don't think we actually calculated the gravitational binding energy of the Earth, but I'm pretty sure it's well over that. Which, in case you don't know, if you add energy past the gravitational binding energy of the Earth, you could literally blow up the Earth Alderaan style. Like, space debris. Yeah. So...
and there's too much going on in our inner solar system gravitationally, right? Like now to expect that to recoalesce, right?
Yeah, it would just be a second asteroid belt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The evidence is best explained, and I would dare say only explained, by Noah's flood.
Yeah, but Matt, you haven't given us any reasons to think that. You've given us
Yeah.
bad reasons, I suppose, which I guess are some reasons. No good reasons.
Yeah, if I'm remembering right, like he was talking about like, hey, look, we can see the we can see tsunami, right? Tsunami exists, therefore Noah's flood. That's just like, whoa, no, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Those two things, that does not follow. Man, I'm gonna go all back to my grading acronyms from Navy Land. DNF does not follow. Like this doesn't follow from that. Like, come on now.
Zerulon says Matt is an American. You can't use degrees Celsius. You have to use ice cubes per football field. Sorry, Americans. You know, I actually have the weather app on my phone set to Celsius.
Wild. Listen, man, I'm a meteorologist and I work with meteorologists. And when we're talking about what the temperature is outside, we use Fahrenheit. And when we're doing science, we use Celsius.
Nice.
No, actually, when we're doing science, we use Kelvin.
Well, yeah, okay, Kelvin makes sense. Although the thing is, Kelvin, like the units in Kelvin are the same size as the units in Celsius. So
Yes, I'm aware.
I'm telling the audience, Maddie, not you. We're here to spread sciencey facts to the audience.
Wait, I had an idea. Got it. Okay, here's my new proposal for how Noah's flood works.
Okay, here we go.
It happened exactly like the way young Earth creationists claim, fully exactly like that, right? Except the boat Noah builds, right, is actually a spaceship, right?
Just Gopher Wood is airtight. Got it.
Yeah, because of a miracle. Like, don't worry about it. But the old Earth that Noah was on is where the asteroid belt is now.
Oh, and so this is just the new Earth.
Yeah.
So why did Noah have to wait for the water to recede?
Oh, okay. So that was what he was perceiving as water receding, right? Was actually them like coming to Earth and landing. Don't worry that doesn't make any sense.
Okay. Also, Jillian Holographic Light Matrix Ren says, which Alderaan style? The original one before they added in the Praxis ring. That style. Because there's no reason for Alderaan to have a Praxis ring when it blows up. There's also no reason for Praxis to have a Praxis ring when it blows up, but it looks good in Star Trek 6. Now, the Death Star having a Praxis ring when it blows up actually does kind of make sense, because there's a central trench that could concentrate some of the force of the explosion into that area, except that the Praxis ring ends up being perpendicular to that trench, so it still doesn't make any sense. So, George Lucas, please stop. I guess he is stopped because he's no longer the one in charge of that. Disney, please don't add any Praxis rings for no reason to planets when you blow them up in your Star Wars movie.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, just there's no reason for it.
You like how many people work on these movies have one or two space nerds? Come on.
Yeah, right. I don't think like J.J. Abrams even cares about space.
Yeah.
Because like, if you think about the space stuff that happens, especially in the 2009 Star Trek, like wait a minute, none of this makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
All of this is stupid.
Those movies, like I enjoy them, but they are the action movies in the franchise.
Oh yeah.
Right. Not like, and so like I enjoy them. You just have to know that it's they're telling a Star Trek story in a different genre, and like I read fan fiction, right? That's fine. And like Star Trek plays with genre, right? That's especially starting in Next Generation, right?
Well, especially with Strange New Worlds, which is all over the place in terms of genre.
It's true, it is all over the place. But like, come on, like Deep Space Nine did like war chorus, like they practically did an episode of MASH.
Yeah,
right?
basically.
And a whole and then they do a whole like all like the only word I can think of is noir, and they're not the ones that did noir, but like the lounge singer, right?
Vic Fontaine.
Vic Fontaine, yeah. We do a whole like Roaring 20s.
And not just in Roaring 20s, but a how do we deal with the fact that there are aspects of the aesthetic of the past that we want to continue to enjoy while also acknowledging the horrible, horrible bigotry that occurred during those times? And how do we square that aspect? How do we enjoy the fun aspects of the Roaring Twenties while also ignoring, but not necessarily being overwhelmed by the racism, say, of the time? That was a whole plot line that happened.
Yeah. Oh, and there's the whole like all of Star Trek is secretly stories in a black author on actual Earth in the 30s. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
Who happens to look just like Cisco.
Yeah, it's like Star Trek plays with genre a lot, which is so like and no, I don't think it's hypocritical for me to say that Discovery and the first 2 seasons of Picard don't feel like Star Trek.
Well, there's a certain attitude that Star Trek tends to have, and that often can get left behind in an effort to do too much genre bending. And I do think that that happened with Discovery.
Yeah, it's not. So okay, so the J.J. Abrams movie felt like Star Trek does an action movie, right? Versus like future like space pirate does Star Trek, right? It's the I don't know if that made sense at all.
I think it did. We got a couple super chats. Aiden's Miscellany for $5 says Abrams making the Enterprise suddenly change vectors and all fall straight down and into darkness will haunt me forever. Yeah, look, J.J. Abrams doesn't care about physics. He doesn't care about science. He doesn't care about space. And you know what? He doesn't always have to. It's okay. Vandelli for 1998 for $5 says, has any of the newer Star Trek shows taken play in the 2009 timeline of it? Is still... Okay, hold on. I think there were some typos I'm going to try and figure out. Has any of the newer Star Trek shows taken place in the 2009 timeline, or is it still in the original timeline except for those 3 movies? So the only things that have officially occurred in that timeline, as far as I know, are the 3 movies and some comic tie-ins, which are of dubious canonicity in terms of even the movies themselves. The claim has been that all the new shows are in the original timeline, but that's explicitly not true according to the shows themselves. For instance, Strange New Worlds is a spin-off of Discovery, and in it is revealed that the eugenics wars did not take place in the 1990s as a result of time-traveling Romulan shenanigans, which means it's explicitly not in the same timeline as Starseed, the original series episode, in which we find out who Khan Noonien Singh is in the first place, who was a dictator that fought in the eugenics wars in the 1990s. So, like, no, you've written yourself to not be in the same timeline, new Star Trek shows. At least those 2, Discovery and Strange New Worlds. So, like, you can't tell me you're in the same timeline and then also tell me that you changed the timeline, because now you're not in the same timeline anymore. So, as a result of that, I don't know. I think it's pretty easy to say that Prodigy and Lower Decks are probably in the prime timeline, but then again, when Lower Decks time travels back to be on in a crossover episode with Strange New Worlds, they show up in the Strange New Worlds timeline, which makes me think that maybe they're actually in the Strange New Worlds timeline, and maybe just the events of Voyager and the Next Generation are more or less identical in that timeline. So it's weird and complicated, and it's best that you not think about it all that much, because then the time cops will come for you.
Yeah. I just think there's at least 2 places where Star Trek put events in the far future
of the 1990s.
Of the 1990s, and then in 2024, right? For the Bell...
Sorry, Space Seed, not Star Seed. My apologies, my unfinished journey.
The Bell Revolts?
Riots.
Those happened in 2024, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, like, I understand... If I'm a writer on Strange New Worlds, I understand the idea of we want to reference the eugenics wars, but we want our viewer to imagine that those happen in their future, right? their future, and Strange New Worlds is in their future, right? It's a kind of like that's a hard hole to write yourself out of.
I mean, my personal go is just like Star Trek already takes place in an alternate timeline. We all know it's not going to be the real future anyway, so like just let it be an alternate history starting in like the 80s or something.
Yeah.
Regios for $5 says plot holes aren't canon. Yeah, it's one of those things, right? Like if you want to have a consistent canon, you have to have a consistent set of events. And if you don't, then either you have an inconsistent canon where you're not sure what events are canon, or you just have to have different timelines. And for some reason, Paramount is like, no, we can't have different timelines. And I'm like, all right, cool. Whatever, man. I'm going to hit play.
Okay.
Because we're currently doing what we were supposed to be doing after 20 more of the super chats.
Oh, okay.
Then the massive Zuni mega sequence hits. The Absorica and Zuni mega sequences.
So I want to. We did talk about this when he first talked about mega sequences. What he's actually doing is talking about cratonic sequences in North America. And what a cratonic sequence is it's the result of a sea transgression. And a sea transgression is a whole bunch of water where there isn't water now, but it's not a high energy event. It is a low energy event that results in shallow seas and not floodwaters. And there's a big difference between a sea and a flood. You don't go to the beach and think, oh no, look at this gigantic flood from here to Europe or Africa or whatever is directly east of you. Or on the other side, oh no, an even bigger flood from here to East Asia or Australia. That's not, no.
Well, and also he's saying, and then came the Zuni mega sequence. Like that's like a weapon on your Gundam that's here to punch a planet, you know?
I mean, from his standpoint, it basically is a weapon on God's Gundam. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Alright.
Are the most severe because the continental plates began to move more quickly from the original Pangea-like supercontinent.
Based on what, Matt? I'm just saying take a drink. It's just like, they just moved faster. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah, they move real fast now.
Okay.
Configuration
Now,
to where they are.
That's a fully unnecessary claim. Because, like, normally the claim is they were in Rodinia and then split apart, came together for Pangea, split apart again to what they are now, or whatever it is they say. But trying to be, like, granular with, like, well, they were moving, they had to speed up at this point, you know, on day 85 of the flood, or else none of this makes sense.
Yes, that is indeed the reason it stopped making sense, is...
Yeah.
Lieutenant Matt, observer of geostationary crucifixion for $5 says, my apartment complex has a small artificial flood with some chlorine in it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this inability to distinguish between floods and other instances of standing water where currently you would be surprised to find it.
A flood and a lake. And just
right, exactly.
A body of water.
Yeah, floods are specifically high energy events in which large amounts of water are where normally there is no large amount of water.
Yeah.
So a puddle,
and
not
that flood comes and goes, like that, where like the flood comes and goes on a time scale, right? Where
usually one that's within like a human lifetime, not within tens of thousands to millions of years.
Exactly. Yeah. This is on non-geologic scale.
Yeah. If a flood lasts 10,000 years, that's not a flood. That's just a river.
That's just a river. Yeah. Yeah. That's just how that river is.
Right.
Today.
Yeah.
With oceanic rifting and plate subduction increasing dramatically and the continents traveling apart quickly, the tsunami-like waves began washing across the western North America while virtually no sedimentation is occurring in the east. When coming up...
Is that how he's excusing that there's basically no Mesozoic sediment in, like, eastern North America?
I don't think he's thinking that hard, but maybe.
Okay. Maybe. Because, I mean, that is a weird thing about eastern North America, is there's almost nothing from any of the Mesozoic. It's like, go up through, like, the Paleozoic, and then there's just, like, nothing. And then you finally get to some, like, Ice Age deposits in, you know, the Pleistocene. And that's actually the result mostly of, like, glaciers, and also the erosion of the central Pangean mountain range, which is now, like, the Appalachians. So, yeah.
over the Dinosaur Peninsula, the Zuni catastrophically buried dinosaurs in the Morrison Formation, a 13-state area encompassing over 700,000 square miles.
Okay, but there's a problem with that. Like, the Morrison Formation is not characterized by high-energy deposits. It's characterized by things like wind-blown sand, lake deposits, sometimes lake deposits mixed with some volcanic ash, but not so much volcanic ash that, like, they formed under a volcano. So, but enough that we know that there was more volcanic activity, at least in North America, during the Jurassic, which is itself interesting. But, like, we have characterized all these rocks in the Morrison Formation. They're not flood rocks. Some of them aren't even water rocks. Right?
Well, and also listen to the way he's talking about the Zuni formation, right? They're the Zuni mega sequence, right? Which, like, what this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, but this is like a name for a set of geologic formations, right? He's talking about it like, here comes the Zuni, right? As though this is a large thing of rock, right? That's being dropped down from the heavens, right? Which to me shows a fundamental misunderstanding and a fundamental lack of knowledge of how rocks form, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these rocks did not form by already being rocks that get dropped here, right? Which is how he's talking about it.
It's possible it's not what he's thinking. I'm not positive, but if he is thinking that, then yeah, it's extremely incorrect. Also,
yeah, I'm putting my like teacher hat on, right? Of listen, the hardest part of being a teacher is listening to a student explain a concept back to you and then trying to figure out what they think is going on.
Yeah, I've had that. I've never been a teacher professionally, but I've taught many people many things.
Yeah. And so I need you to explain to me how this works. And then you find that like fundamental little logic flaw in their brain, but finding that is like the hardest part, right?
Oh, yeah.
And my teacher brain is telling me that the fundamental flaw in Ramat's logic is that when he hears deposition, right, in a deposition event, he is imagining, I think in his brain, it is already formed existing rocks that get dumped here.
Right. I think
that's not how rocks are made.
No. So you can have rocks like that mixed into a conglomerate, in which case they become elements of a sedimentary layer. But generally, no, that is not how sedimentary layers form in bulk.
Yeah.
Although I suppose if you want to get super technical, there's no hard definition as to how big a rock has to be before it stops being a sedimentary grain and becomes its own independent rock. But, like, whatever, man.
But if it's the size of your fist, that's too big.
Generally, yeah, that's going to be bigger than gravel. So, yeah. Larperners for $5 says, AIG is a bulging bag of bulbous bananas. And we'll take a drink. Thank you very much.
So good. Okay. My next challenge for you guys, for chat, is on your alliteration. So that was B. I want the next alliteration. I want the next AIG as a bag of dicks to be the letter C alliteration. That's what I want to see.
All right. Well, I mean, there are plenty of euphemisms.
Order.
There's a handy euphemism that starts with C. So.
Yeah.
Thanks. English.
Everything's a dick joke in English.
That's not unique to English.
No.
It turns out that humans just really like dick jokes.
I really like dick jokes.
Yeah.
I learned today. So I went to a an evangelical high school, right? But when I went there, I got an incredibly good education, but not long after I graduated, pushing like 15 years ago now. Wait, yeah, geez. Oh man, no, over 15 years. We're pushing 20 years. Oh no.
Maddie becomes aware of the ravages of time in real time here on the channel.
Guys, I've got gray hair. Anyway, like my English teacher, we read at this little school, we read normal English curriculum stuff. We read Romeo and Juliet. We read I think we read Macbeth. Yeah, we read Frankenstein. You know, like we read Lord of the Flies. We read normal high school English literature.
Mhm.
Like a year or two after I graduated, the English teacher switched and they went hard. We're only reading religious literature. And I'm like, oh no, my mom wouldn't have let me go to that school.
Yeah, I went to a Catholic school for high school, and while there definitely was a religion class that I was forced to attend, and
Yeah.
I was, taught how Catholicism worked, while not being a Catholic, there was also like a normal English class and a normal math class and normal history classes, whatnot, and science
Yeah.
classes.
There's
Yeah.
part of that weird, like, really like 90s and aughts subculture of evangelicalism, which is like you saw it more in media, but it was, oh, well, we'll just make our own Christian version of everything, right?
Mhm.
So that's why we have PureFlix. You have your own Christian version of Netflix. It's like it's a very seclusionist. We'll have our own schools, our own curriculum. And to be honest, while like I think that it's pretty like detrimental to like children growing up in that environment, if the far right, like if the religious extremists inside of if like the like white Christian nationalism, right, that's taking over America right now, if what they were saying was like, you know what, no, what we need to do is like separate ourselves from the world, right, not be tainted by it, not interact with it, and just like retreat into our own circle,
Do the
right, and
JW
like
thing.
yeah, do the JW thing. Like, while that is very cult like, that's gonna do less harm overall. Right?
Yeah, look, the
I would that
JWs
would be the lesser evil here.
the JWs pretty much only hurt themselves. Like,
Yeah.
and they do a lot, but
Yeah.
if your neighbor is a Jehovah's Witness, other than occasionally annoying you about becoming a Jehovah's Witness, they're not about to take away your rights. They're not about to send your kids to war. They're not going to send the troops into your streets. They're not going to kidnap your neighbors or you or anyone else and send them to a gulag in El Salvador.
Nope.
So, I guess, good job, Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, it's what like I'm all about harm reduction, right?
Yeah. We got a
Um,
super chat. Lieutenant Matt, observer of Geostationary Crucifixion, says the fundamental flaw in Raw Matt's logic is that he has abandoned reason for madness. That's accurate.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And also, isn't there a whole bunch about Jesus saying, like, be in the world but not of the world, and my kingdom was not of this earth, and didn't that come up a lot in the Gospels? Isn't that a thing?
It sure does. There's also the whole like, oh, I'm gonna paraphrase, but like, pay your taxes and keep your head down.
That did seem to be a thing that happened.
Yeah. Like take care of your neighbor, do that part, and otherwise, right? What like as this refers to like your relationship to empire, right? Like empire's gonna empire. You might not be able to control that, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh well, I'm gonna hit play.
Yeah.
This Jurassic unit includes at least 141 massive dinosaur bone graveyards, where dinosaurs like the Tamarasaurus, Diplodocus,
Did he just say Diplodocus?
I don't know what he said, but that obvious like ADR was great.
I'm just gonna take a drink for Matt can't look at a dinosaur name and actually pronounce it.
That was so good. That's so good. Do you
just-
think he can pronounce acetaminophen?
I doubt it. Plus, that's big pharma, so he wouldn't want to.
That's true.
Yeah. Raw Matt, he might be crazier than RFK. As far as I know,
But
RFK has
brain-
never advocated that people just starve themselves.
Yeah.
Because, no, you're not going to get really healthy by eating a bunch of fries fried in beef tallow, because you're still eating just a bunch of potatoes and fat and salt. It's way less healthy to just stop eating altogether than it would be to, say, eat those fries in tallow. Which, also, can I just say that if all the fast food places just start cooking all their fries in tallow, that removes yet another restaurant option from vegans and vegetarians. Which, as someone who sometimes would prefer not to have any animal products or to cut down on animal products, I don't like it all that much. Because if I
Yeah.
feel like, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't need any animal products today. And before, I could just go to any fast food place and it's like, yeah, okay, they're going to be using like some kind of plant oil.
Yeah.
Now it's like, maybe not. Maybe I'm going to be eating beef when I eat my fries. My fries don't need to be beef.
Yeah, there's a College Humor sketch about that of secret meat.
It's true though. There's so much secret meat. I was getting gummies for a particular reason.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, are any of these not made with gelatin, like the pectin or anything? And it took a while for the salesperson to go look through his list of gummies to find one that had pectin on the label and didn't have gelatin. And like, also, honestly, I kind of like the texture of pectin more. It's a little softer and it's a little less like bouncy. So I don't know, I like it. Yeah, I don't know. Just please stop taking away all the vegetarian and vegan options. I say as someone who isn't even either of those things.
Yeah.
I just don't always want to be eating beef. Like, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a couple super chats now that I'm done ranting about secret meat, which is a super real thing and I hate it. Oh,
Secret meat.
it's true though. Actually, Mitochondrial Eve for $1.99 says AIG is a carry-all of cleverant carriers, and I'll take a drink for that. Technically, there's no like phallic joke in there, but I don't care. It's fine.
Yeah.
Lord Burners for $5 says there are also multiple verses instructing Christians to welcome immigrants. Yes, there are.
Sure are.
AIG is a case of quivering cockerels. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Beautiful. On to D. I want to see D in the chat.
Maddie has never thought about how her words could be taken by a more, say, gutter-minded person before she says them. That's just not a thing that has ever crossed her mind.
That's not a thing that's ever happened to me. No.
Yep. It's always she says it and then she realizes after the fact, oh no, what have I said?
No. Oh no.
Oh.
The implication.
Petite Flower for $2 says AIG is a carton of cowering cucumbers. I'll take a drink for that.
I like that one.
Kent Jeffrey of Arimathea Halstead for $4.99 says EAG. Oh, wait. That's not French. What language are we doing here? EAGS sac rye I don't know what language we're doing here. Like it looks like maybe it's a Romance language, but then Prex is definitely not spelled, or nor is Sac. So is it German? Are we doing a Germanic language? I am so confused. Also, don't ask private Christian schools why they were all founded immediately after desegregation. Not
That's true.
But a lot
in my
of them.
defense, the school that I went to was founded in 1990.
I don't remember when the Catholic school I was founded in was founded, but it was after the building was used as an orphanage, and also it was in Massachusetts where there was in fact no segregation. So
there was a lot of push and pull in the like philosophy of the school that I went to, because it was intentionally built and founded in a part of Tulsa where the public schools around it were the worst ones, right?
yeah,
They had the lowest performance, and this was a economical, right? Like they intentionally were keeping tuition tuition down, like less than a quarter of what you would pay to go to like the goods private school, right?
Yeah.
To keep that down, and it's specifically a college preparatory school, right? And it's so like there's like this mission part of it, and then also like a lot of some of those wild evangelical right-wing thoughts that I think when it started and when I went to school there, it leaned more into that mission side, and as time's gone on, it's leaned more and more into the other side of it.
Regios for $5 says D. Maddie, you saw there's a D in the chat. Good job.
Good job. I'm gonna take a drink.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised that there just hasn't been a bunch of eggplant emojis all over the place.
Yeah.
My audience is too innocent. Also,
Yeah.
we are now at 16 super chats, so I am going to be dropping a Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine Anniversary Edition Steam key. Remember, that is not Space Marine 2, which is the big popular game right now, but it is the game that comes before that one. It actually comes about 100 years before that one. And also, if you get a Bolt Gun, which is the a Warhammer 40k boomer shooter, it is actually like a secret sequel to this game, because it takes place in the immediate aftermath on the same planet that the original Space Marine takes place on. So here we go. Remember, you do not have to be a member or a patron or have super chatted or have gifted memberships or anything else in order to grab that. You just got to be fast. No purchase necessary. And please, if you get it, or if you don't, if you just try it, let me know by adding me if either you got it or someone else did. Naramda puts member for 25 months and is at the level of Tetrapod says 100-year-old video game. Dapper, sort of. No. To be fair, the video game is only about a decade old. But the time frame is about 100 years jump. And you can tell because Titus has gained 2 new service studs, and service studs come at 50-year intervals. And he started with 2, he got 2 more, now he has 4, which means at least 100 years have passed. Well, approximately, since we don't know exactly how far into like the next service stud. But anyway, yeah, it's about 100 years. And yes, Space Marines live a long time, which is why that's fine. Well, they live a long time until they get, brutally torn apart by some horrible monster. So they don't die of old age for a long time, is what I'm getting at. I think their lifespan is somewhere around like 3,000 years or something before they start actually aging out of being active Space Marines. And like none of them make it that long. Terry Bronson, who's been a member for 52 months, says, half serious, have you considered using OF for its original safer work purpose to help with the budgetary issues? You might need to update the Dino model. I haven't. I don't know. I feel like no one uses it for that original safer work purpose. So I feel like I don't know, would people actually bother going to OnlyFans to get Dapper Dinosaur content? It feels like the answer is no. So yeah. Sass by Chesh. Oh, sorry.
Alternative pitch.
Mm-hmm.
You start an OnlyFans and do pinups of your avatar.
I mean, I don't know how successful that would be, but maybe.
I don't know. Bernadette Banner did an experiment where she did sexy Victorian ankle pictures.
That I do actually remember that, and it did apparently work pretty well for her.
It worked pretty well. Granted, that was it was for the novelty and for like a week, right? So
right. Sassed by Chesh for 100 Argentinian pesos says, "Oh no, I already read that one. What am I talking about?" Code has been taken, says Dark Law Dragon. Awesome. All right, so I will get that one off of my list, guys. We still have a bunch of codes. I'm going to be giving away Steam. I have one. What is it? I still have 8 more Steam codes to give away. 8 more. So I got plenty. All right, here we go. Although we are actually getting close to the point where we just won't have to talk about Matt again this week. Or month.
Apatosaurus, Stegosaurus, and Allosaurus are found.
What is that Allosaurus model? I don't recognize that.
Yeah.
Like, that's clearly a 3D model.
Yeah.
But it's not the ARC one. Huh. Weird. Okay.
The Cretaceous layers like the Hill Creek Formation are found on top of the Jurassic and holds hundreds of mass boneyards, containing...
Okay, so one thing I want to point out is, when he shows these maps of these mass boneyards, what he's showing you is maps derived from PaleoDB, which has an Explorer option, which is actually really, really cool. You should check it out. And basically, you can filter it by rock sequence / time era, and also you can filter it by taxon, right? So you can say, okay, I only want Cretaceous theropods, or I only want Paleozoic synapsids or something, right? Or you say, I want only synapsids from the Permian and Triassic. and it will show you where these things have been found. And if there are a bunch of finds that are clustered together, what it will do is if you're zoomed out too far for them to all resolve easily, it'll put a bigger circle there. And what Matt does is he takes these big circles and he pastes them into his video. Like, see, these are all dinosaur graveyards. And yes, some of them are. But most of them aren't. And you can hover over them to see what they are. And you can zoom in to see how many sites that actually is. And many of the sites are just single solitary finds. Like, here was found Anapatosaurus femur. And Matt's like, dinosaur graveyard! No, that's not how that works. And he's not the only one that does this. Dan Bill really loves PaleoDB maps and really loves to misinterpret them. I don't know if he's misinterpreting them because he's a liar or because he's dishonest. Or no, that's the same thing. Or because he's stupid. That's what I'm gonna go for. But like, I don't know. It's definitely not what the map actually means. They're misreading these maps. And also, I don't know where he's getting this silhouette thing from, but I kind of like it. Although I don't like that it says pterodactyl, because that's not a thing. That's a pteranodon that's pictured there, not a pterodactyl. Pterodactyl isn't an actual taxon. It's a nickname for pterosaurs, and there's a pterodactylus, which was one of the first pterosaurs ever described. But yeah, pterodactyl isn't an actual scientific term. Okay. Also, Tyrannosaurus is spelled wrong.
Oh.
It's the spell here T-I-R, but it's T-Y-R because the underlying Greek is an upsilon, which is translated into English with a Y, which is where we get words like tyrant, because it's from Greek tyrannos, which is also where Tyrannosaurus comes from. They're etymologically linked. I'm trying to now I'm interested, like, what else is wrong here?
Well, I'm looking at the Sarcosuchus?
Sarcosuchus? Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, Sarcosuchus?
Yeah.
And I think it looks a little bit like a hippo crossed with a crocodile.
It does, but that's also pretty accurate for a silhouette for Sarcosuchus. It has a really weird bulbous nose.
Okay.
Saurolophus, yeah, Cardontosaurus, a little bit gracile for that, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing too many other things, although one thing is that these are just Cretaceous animals. These are not Hell Creek animals. For instance, Protoceratops, not found in the Hell Creek. That's over in China. It's actually earlier than the Hell Creek. Spinosaurus, that's over in Africa, North Africa. So, like, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff here that shouldn't be. Tsintausaurus? Maddie, would you care to guess what country Tsintausaurus is from?
I'm gonna guess China.
Yeah, it's from China. Because the name kind of gives it away a little bit.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, these are... And also there's Bellum nitido, which is not a dinosaur at all. It's not even a land animal. It's a squid, but... Well, I mean, it's a belemnite, but, like, whatever. It's basically a squid. It's a squid with an actual hard shell on the interior.
Cool.
Pegajace, the Pokemon... YouTube is cutting off the name, so now I have to refresh things. Pegajace, the Pokemon Pangea proponent, for $5 says, in before Tyrannosaurus. Oh no, with a Pterannosaurus. That would be a rough one. All right, so we are at about the halfway point. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break to refresh drinks, to get any kind of biology done, that kind of thing. And then we'll be back in just a few minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to have a teaser for the next Star Trek Adventures game, which hopefully will start up in November as a result of some very unfortunate circumstances. We are on a quick hiatus. And again, I don't know how much about that is being made public, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But yeah, we had some unavoidable circumstances, which are making it so that, like, it's probably best that we go on a quick hiatus, which is sad, but that is what it is. Also, for $2, Ashley Mitochondrial Eve says, AIG is a duffel of deceitful and destructive living it off dicks. Yeah, okay. We'll take a drink for that before we got out of here.
Thank you.
All right. Let's get out of here for just a few minutes. We'll be right back, everybody.
Chief Medical Officer's Log. Stardate 60487.9. The ship has almost finished repairs following the incident at the binary M-class worlds orbiting the star at HIP 73513. We've continued our mission exploring the Shackleton Expanse. The subpar response to the resulting medical emergencies by both myself and my staff have shown some previously unknown flaws in our preparations and procedures. While this has not shaken my trust in Starfleet's set procedures and guidelines, it has certainly opened my eyes to the need to make adjustments to better fit them to the ship's particular needs. Let the engineers keep the ship sound. The safety of this crew is my first priority. Despite our rough recent performance, I am finding myself far more excited and optimistic about our upcoming missions.
The Doctor's concerns for flawed mass casualty procedures are well-founded, and about to be brought to the fore again. The crew is in the middle of a routine day of surveys, repairs, and diagnostics when suddenly internal alarms are triggered. Something is inside the ship, and it's growing. The crew will have to depend on their knowledge of the ship, and perhaps on Commander Dulles' yoga and Pilates training, as well as Lieutenant 7012's cardio training to not just regain the ship, but even to survive. Can the crew operate the ship when no corridor or compartment is safe? Will they regain control? And how many lives will be lost in the effort? Find out next time in Jeffrey's Tube Jam, only on the Top Hats Off channel. Well, Dapper is a professional, so take a drink for that. Also, Kent Jeffrey...
You know what? I'm going to finish my hour one beer and then switch to this peanut butter milk stout by Left Hand Brewing Company.
Interesting.
It was real good.
Kent Jeffrey of Arimathea Halstead says, what the heck was with that Z-fighting? There was no Z-fighting. That was a different glitch, and I didn't have time to fix it before I thought I needed to have that ready. So, take that. It wasn't Z-fighting. Yep. So, there you go. It was a glitch, though. Or was it? Maybe the horrible presence from the mystery place is actually just a glitchy monster. Maybe. We don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's... I thought I needed it done very fast, and it wasn't. However, now that we're back, before we continue on, I do want to say, first of all, thank you so much to everyone who helps with super chats, with joining the Patreon, with joining the memberships, with gifted memberships, with super thanks, super stickers, all that stuff. It's all immensely helpful. Also, gifting things on the Amazon wishlist. Also immensely helpful. This channel it only is able to continue to exist because you guys help support it. Without the support of viewers, this channel would get not nearly enough for me to spend as much time as I do on it, basically. I would have to cut back considerably, which would also lower how much the channel makes, which is a bit of a catch-22. And so I can't express enough how much I appreciate it. And if you are someone who is currently interested in supporting more or supporting now when you aren't currently supporting, There are some great ways to do it, but first I want to say, if you're considering supporting, I first want you to check your budget. If you can actually afford to spare the money, only then do I want you to consider actually supporting financially. If you don't want to support financially or you can't, that's fine. What I ask everyone, financially supporting or not, to do is like this video, share it with your friends, put comments in the comments of all my videos, stuff like that. Also, Lieutenant Matt, observer of Geostationary Crucifixion, gifted 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships. We'll take drinks for that in a bit.
I'm
So
gonna do
thank
mine
you.
now.
That's fair. So if you do want to help, the easiest way is the Patreon. It starts at only $1 a month. You can get a 10% discount if you go annually. You get access to my Discord server that's just for supporters. You get early access to videos. I put out an early access video today. It probably won't come out until, like, I don't know what, like May or something. So, like...
So if you want any of Dapper's avatars or theming to make sense, you've really got to be on the early access list.
It's true. When we get, like, oh, fancy avatar, it's not going to appear in public for, like, 6 months. So, like, yeah, if you're not on the early access list, then, yeah, you're not going to realize how they connect very well. But, yeah, if the Patreon has feed pics, I mean, technically most of my videos have tens of thousands of feed pics, since every frame is its own picture. And my feet are visible in pretty much all of them. But, hey, it's technically true. The Patreon does have feed pics. Yeah, so it's a huge help when you guys support there. Also, there's the memberships. Memberships start at $1.99. They also get you access to the Discord server. They also get you early access. They also get you the fancy green text next to your name, as well as the channel badges and access to the channel emojis. If what you want is both, if you wanted like a best of both worlds, my recommendation is you join at the lowest tier on YouTube, so that you still get like a monthly membership chat, you still get the emojis, you still get the icon, and then like put the rest that you want to give over on Patreon, where I get to keep the most of it. So yeah, because Patreon only takes about 10%, whereas YouTube takes about 30%. So yeah, and hey, if you don't want to do that, there's also merch, and if you don't want to do any kind of stuff like that, that's fine too. Like I said, like and subscribe, share the video, comment. Also, I do have a Amazon wish list, which is almost entirely just things that would make me happy if I had them. And so what you're doing with that is you're just giving me a quick rush of happy brain chemicals, which is really helpful, because geez, is everything on fire. So yeah, if you ever want to just like specifically help my mental health,
Dopamine.
Yeah.
Dopamine.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly. Also, if you want to help me in a way that does not actually just transfer goods to me, either monetarily or directly, there's also rendering on Sheepit. That's the word I'm trying to go for. So yeah, the render farm I use to get my videos done is called Sheepit. You can participate in that. You follow directions in the description. Basically, you download the client, you use the login information that I give you in the description, and then any points that you generate by just running, cycles on your GPU for the render farm will benefit my account, so that my frames get a higher priority when I upload them to the render farm. So that is another way you can help out. Okay, we have a few things here. Let's see. So, of course, YouTube is being weird again, so I have to refresh my studio. Thanks, YouTube. All right, so Lieutenant Matt, observer of Geostationary Crucifixion, gifts 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships. I'm going to take 5 drinks while Maddie tells you why the Oberth class sucks.
Sure, I don't know what that is or even what it's in reference to, but you know what I want to talk about today, team? I want to talk about how absolutely wild purple cabbage is. Not to eat, but because if you take that purple cabbage, take a few leaves off, boil it, like low simmer, right? For like 30 minutes, and then take the cabbage leaves out, you have this beautiful, bright purple, foul-smelling, but bright purple liquid that is incredibly sensitive to pH.
Sure.
In fact, I made my students, they made a full pH scale with distinct colors using cabbage juice and then liquids of known pH from 2 to 11, and they got 10 distinct colors, which is so cool. So if you need a science experiment to do at home with young children that's actually very safe, and you've moved beyond baking soda and vinegar, then I strongly recommend doing like pH. You can play with pH stuff in your house, right? Because you've got lemon juice, white vinegar, apple cider vinegar. Baking soda is going to be a base. If you have like aspirin, I think also goes to like a base. If you like grind it up and mix it with water and then put it into it. So like wild, and you can make stuff change color, and it's really cool.
All right. Hank says, for $16 redues, AIG are a calamitously capricious cabal comprised of a carry-all of cucumbers. We'll take a drink. Thank you very much.
Love it. Cheers.
Kerry Bronson for $5 says, when the gooey duck gaggle that is AIG goes bankrupt, we can all pool our money and buy... Can we all pool our money and buy the Ark Encounter building? Well, we can try. Then we can let you live there rent-free. Well, first of all, I don't know that I would want to live in such a gigantic place all by myself.
No, man, we'll start the Science Friends commune.
Yeah, I was going to say, it might have to be some kind of like a communal living kind of situation, because that is a lot of space. Yeah. Even for a dinosaur, that's a lot of space. I would be uncomfortable with that much all to myself. It would feel like a cavern. Let's see. Pillowpunk for $5 says, and now I know the word to describe when Chalice Dungeon assets and Bloodborne spawn on top of each other. Come on, let's get an official PC port of Bloodborne, Sony. Let's go. What do you, like, seriously? What are you doing? You know how much people would buy that up. Do it. Hackers already managed it. There's already like a 30 FPS PC port that's illegal, but it works. Oh well. Sean, the 21st century viewer of this channel for $5 says, raw mat is a sack of Vergosaurus fossil graveyards with a Godzilla. Yeah, I'll take a drink. Thank you.
By the way, this beer is really good.
Good. It sounds weird. I'll be honest with you.
It's really good. But I love really strong, really flavorful stouts.
Okay.
And this is a milk stout, so it's not like 16%, right? Which is some of the stouts I drink are. How much are you?
Regios for $5 says, trying to keep up and hoping to forestall any speaking roles from Matt. Well, if we get 6 more super chats, we're not even going to try to do any more Matt speaking roles. So, like, you know, be the change.
Yeah.
Also, Carnotaurus, not American, but South American, and they have about the same sort of sequences, so I'll let it go. Vandalia 1998 for $2 says, what % are actually dinosaurs on this pick? So I don't want to actually sit here and calculate the number of dinosaurs versus non-dinosaurs, but let's go through and pick out the non-dinosaurs. So we have Pteranodon, which is inappropriately labeled. That's not a dinosaur. Belemnitida is obviously not a dinosaur. Ornithochirus, not a dinosaur. Let's see. Archelon is a turtle. Chronosaurus is a lizard. Dacosaurus is another lizard. Sarcosuchus is a stem crocodilian. Baryonyx, also from northwestern Europe. Let's see. Chasmosaurus, dinosaur. Elasmosaurus is a sauropterygian, so it's related to Archelon, but it's not a dinosaur. So we have 8 non-dinosaurs here. Which, to be fair, Matt probably pulled this from a place that was just like late Cretaceous fauna and not like North American dinosaurs. He just doesn't know the difference because, Raw Matt's an idiot. So I don't want to blame whoever put this together because I suspect that this was not supposed to be a list of dinosaurs. Although there are a bunch of mistakes on it, which I find annoying. Renee Reborn, who's been a member for 23 months and is at the Amulet level, says, I too love strong, flavorful stouts with a Mothra. Well, thank you.
Nice. Well, cheers. I hope you're drinking one right now.
All right. You need 5 more super chats to abandon Matt for the rest of the month. But until then,
several different types of dinosaurs, such as the Tyrannosaurus rex, Triceratops, Centrosaurus, and Amontosaurus, that had been living in different ecosystems, yet all buried by the Zuni megasequence.
How do you know they were living in different ecosystems? What evidence do you have of that, Matt?
Yeah.
Like, because a bunch of those are just found in the Hell Creek Formation together. By the way, non-catastrophic depositions. So like, obsessed by Chesh for 100 Argentinian pesos says my favorite dinosaur is Basilosaurus. Matt probably get out, go out of the chat with that Basilosaurus is a favorite dinosaur, even if you're putting it in Matt's mouth. Maddie, in case you're wondering, Basilosaurus is in fact a whale.
Nice.
Yeah. I realize that, like, you're a weather person, you're not a paleontology
I'm not.
person.
Yeah, this isn't my jam. I'm a weather person with weirdly a lot of knowledge of nuclear stuff and like planetary science stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, geology and paleontology much less so.
Well, we got to give you like a crash course on paleontology.
You'd think after doing all of these streams with you that would count, but I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I zone out and just enjoy my beer.
Understandable. Regios for $5 says evidence. Matt will take a shot at twisting it. Yeah, that's true. Even if we did ask him for evidence and he provided it, it wouldn't actually be real evidence. It would just be whatever fever dream he came up with. By the way, Maddie, did you know that Raw Matt has his own special solution to why uranium dating gives us old ages for rocks?
Why is that?
Well, you'll notice that uranium ages get older as you go deeper into the crust.
Mm-hmm.
That's because old uranium is heavy, and so it just sinks more into the crust because it's denser, because it's heavier. And that gives us an artificially old reading for uranium dates because of the old uranium that sinks into the ground. And Maddie is broken. Yeah, that's the reaction you should have. It's just speechlessness. Because none of that is anything that makes any bit of sense at all.
No. Here's why none of that makes any sense. Number one, the crust is not a liquid. It doesn't currently density sort.
Correct.
Number two, old uranium, right? Older uranium. If you took, let's say we took a square centimeter, like a cubic centimeter, right, of soil or rock or whatever have you, from like lower in the crust versus upper in the crust, right? Neither is all uranium, right? But if we were going to compare, right, like masses or something, right, the old uranium, the bit with the older uranium would be less massive than the bit with the younger uranium, because in the older uranium there's more time for decay to have occurred, right? And so where there was, say, 10 uraniums, and let's say in the new cube there's 10 uraniums, and in the old one there's 8 uraniums, right? Well, what about the other two places, right? Well, those are, I'm skipping a lot of steps. Those are lead now. Lead is less massive than uranium.
Mm-hmm. Also, uranium is just uranium. It's not old or young. A collection of uranium will decay over time, but if you just take a uranium atom, there's no way to know how old it is on its own, nor is it more or less likely to decay in the next half-life than a uranium that was just produced by a kilonova.
Correct. Yeah, I was saying old and young uranium. I was referring to like a collection of uranium.
Right.
I wasn't clear about that because we weren't even at that step yet.
Also, it also broke Becca Giussiniano and Lubelar also in the chat. We're completely broken by that. It's
no. I recognize that this isn't something Matt said in this video that I need to take a drink to cool my brain off for, but I need to take a drink
it's fine.
to cool my brain off for that.
Cheers. Regios for $5 says, is anyone expecting that what Matt says makes sense? Okay, some people may, but not sure they have a very inquisitive mind. Yeah, look, no one here is actually really expecting Matt to make any particular amount of sense. But it's it's still mind-numbing the degree to which he never even tries. Regios also for $5 says, trying to free Maddie and Dapper from this nonsense. Joshua Geese getting us to the super chat goal says, it's like Java garbage collection. There's an old generation and a new generation. Nice. Okay, yeah, guys, we did it. We got to the threshold. So now, Maddie, what's some nerdery that you're working on right now? What's some nerd stuff with it?
Oh man. One, I think I have the green light to introduce my family to Dungeons and Dragons over Thanksgiving.
Oh.
I'm so stoked. I'm gonna trick my dad into playing. I don't know how, but I'm gonna. I've got everybody else on board. And then I have my in-laws weirdly on board, including my niece and nephew who are, they will be at that time, they'll be 8 and 6, which feels like a great age to introduce them to Dungeons and Dragons.
Wait, does your dad do, like, sports stats?
Yes!
Try to hook him in by pointing out that the character sheet is a lot like the stats sheet for a sports player.
Ooh, okay, I like that. I want to find a good. I kind of like the game I want to play with my the like story I want to tell that I think would work really well for both of these populations is like the premise is we are all going to be level 1 characters, right? We're not gonna overwhelm anyone with mechanics, right?
Yeah. Good place to start for absolute newbies is level 1.
Yeah, absolute newbies, also children, right? Like it's gonna be fine. I want it to be like they all live in this one village, or all in this one village, and then the village is like being attacked by wolves, and they have to like, I don't know, stop the wolves, figure out why the wolves were attacking, and like that's kind of it, right? But it's got some built-in motivation as part of my thought of like, oh, your village is being attacked by wolves, right? You want to do something about that because you live here. It's also like nice and self-contained. It's an understandable thing, right? We don't have to.
You don't have to talk about like aboleth thralls or something.
Right. Yeah. Like it's a wolf. It's growling. It wants to bite you. Like that's it. That's it. That's as advanced as we're going. You know. And it's also not too scary, right, for the littles.
So wait, you're not going to have people possessed by like intellect devourers who have weird like brains with cat feet pop out of their heads?
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. We might have like, I don't know, an evil wizard summoning them or something, but
okay. Wait, is it secretly a lich?
No.
Okay.
I mean, not for the level 1 characters.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what if it's a cranky druid?
It could be a cranky druid. I kind of like that. I kind of like the idea that it's a cranky druid, who's like, everyone's making too much noise, or I don't know. Maybe they like built a new mill, and the cranky druid is like anti-industrialization. So we do a little retaking of the Shire vibes too.
Okay. By the way, this is a lot of what our conversations are when we're not streaming, is just like brainstorming RPG ideas.
Yeah. And because I'm ridiculous, I don't know if I've told you this, Dapper, but because I'm a fully ridiculous human, and I'm easily suckered into things that will give me so much dopamine, in January, I am going to Dungeon Master University for 2 days, which is an event that is put on by the D&D in a Castle group. This is the first time they're doing it, but you get to go like learn how to be a better dungeon master for 2 days, like 2 days full
in
of
a castle, I believe.
It's at a university. This one's at a university.
Oh, okay.
It's at a university in Atlanta. Yeah,
on a castle.
I know. We did do. My husband and I did do our like first trip sans young child. Last year, we went to a castle in England and did D&D in a castle, and it was amazing, and I would like to do it 12 more times, but I am not that wealthy. It's stupid expensive.
Yeah,
expensive, but we swung it.
Zerlon says, I got a new RPG core book. Might have to steal you and Maddie to test it out. Well, you know, we do have some open slots over on Top Hats Off this week and next week. What's the book?
We sure do. Chat! I got some questions for chat, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
All right. Wait, I have to pull up my Google Doc. So, chat, after our deeply successful playtest of Scots and Cats, I had so much fun doing that. You guys did so good counting. I was so proud of you.
We did make it a little bit more complicated than just directly counting after a while.
Yeah, well, after you guys figured that out, I made it harder, and then it got then you killed a stupid number of cats.
Yeah, it got harder, but also the numbers got faster, got bigger, much faster. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
much faster.
But like what that taught me is that I can have you have to do like 36,000 cats. Like that was reasonable. I wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
I thought it was unreasonable, and I was like, I don't know, but no. So I've been trying to come up with more mini games chat can play if we were doing like a D&D game, right? And I want to know their feelings about this one. So okay, in game, what you would be doing, chat, is you would be like holding down a dead man switch, right? Something where we have to keep doing this action, and when we stop doing the action is when something bad happens, right?
So it's the button in Lost.
Yeah, it's the button in Lost, or it's like it's a dead man switch. Somebody has to stand here and hold this. You have to hold the door open. Hold door is what it is.
Well, in that case, it was closed,
or you have to hold the door closed, right? You're doing something where you need to like sustain an action, right? So that's kind of the in-game thought. And so chat is gonna play virtual keepy uppy. So you as an individual have to tag someone else in chat with like a specific emote in the message, right? If we were truly doing keepy uppy, it would be like a red balloon, right? But maybe here on Dapper's channel, we would do Mothra. We would toss Mothra to each other. And then they have until that message like scrolls away on the host screen, right? To pass the emote on to the next person. And you could also do that as a just super chat or membership milestone chat, but I think that's not quite as fun. I think everybody should get to play.
Yeah.
And you can't touch it. Like, I think we'd probably have to have a rule, depending on chat size. Like, for y'all, I think, like, you can only touch it. 2 other people have to hit it before you get to again. You know what I mean? And you could also make it harder by having multiple emotes going around at once, which I think would be really silly. But what do you guys think of like that? Would that be fun for you all? I don't have chat pulled up, so I can't actually see it. So, Dapper, you have to tell me what they think.
Well, Reina Vast, I'm not positive, seems interested.
Okay.
Also, Neurondopus for $2 says, tosses a Mothra, so we'll take a drink. Thank you very much.
Cheers. I love it. Okay, here's my I have other ideas I'm going to pitch to chat.
Okay.
Because the other thing that I learned after we played Scots and Cats is like the next little module I need to release after Scots and Cats is a system agnostic set of chat mini games for your tabletop game. So one is going to be a okay, so Fight the Horde is what we did in Scots and Cats, and that was really fun. Another one is going to be like I have it labeled as like pick the lock, crack the safe, solve a puzzle, hack the system. So you have to, one letter at a time, answer a virtual puzzle. So the DM would actually have to give chat a pretty simple puzzle to solve, right? Something that's like, have you ever seen that thing where it's like the letter, it's like the word arrest, and then under it is you are. And the solution is, oh, that says you are under arrest, right? So then if that's the puzzle I gave you, you as chat would have to spell out like YOUARE on, right? You have to spell that out like one letter at a time.
I want to point out,
I don't know how hard that would be to like.
Reina Vast has informed me that it's vast and included the International Phonetic Alphabet transcription, which means I actually know exactly how to pronounce it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That is the ideal way to tell me how to pronounce your name.
Yeah.
That should be a chat challenge. Is type out
Yeah.
the actual pronunciation of words with the International Phonetic Alphabet.
Fun.
Is it fun,
Okay.
or is it a horrible idea that only I would think of because of how horrible it is?
Trevor, I love your chat so much. Like, I love hanging out here. Okay. There's also what I'm calling like a scout or like send a message.
Oh, Luke23 for $2 says Maddie's thinking of a rebus. A rebus is where you look at the thing, and it's supposed to be a word that sounds like the picture of the thing.
Yeah. Like they should be simple, but trying to get chat to say it correctly in the right order is the fun part.
Right.
You know what I mean? I also had the thought of like, okay, like in game, what chat is doing is like they're the scout. They're going to get reinforcements, right? Or they're sending the essential message to someone. And like in chat, what you would do is you have to like send the message, whatever it is, right? By tagging another person, and you have to get it to like X number of unique individuals, right? Before you accomplish the task, is kind of my thought. We could also play a very fun game of Professor Know-It-All, which is an improv game where you speak one word at a time, and I think you could give chat like some period of time. You know, you guys have 1 minute, and anything you say in the next minute, one word at a time, it becomes true, right? So like,
Okay.
you know, you cast a spell, but chat has to do it one word at a time to figure out what that spell does. You know.
Wait, Raina Vast is actually a linguist. Okay, so that explains the use of the IPA. Awesome. See, I am not. So you can direct your linguistics questions to Raina, because I'm sure Raina will know better. Well, I like a lot of those, and so chat. If there's any of those that you know seems really interesting to you, I mean, say in chat and let us know. One thing,
or if you have other ideas of like we should play this game in chat, to have fun during like a D&D stream, let me know.
Yeah.
Because that was so much fun making you guys count. Like it was so much fun.
You know what? Kent Jeffrey of
Yeah.
Arimathea says Warhammer. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go over to make me big and say, this was the result of my stream where I made in 3D a base for a Warhammer game. And
You showed me that. That's so cool.
Yeah, so this got 3D printed. It's a little blurry, so it's hard to tell, but like there are cool little banisters, a little ramp here, got pipes, and yeah, feet go roughly here. So that's some Warhammer nerd stuff.
Nice.
Yep. And also, if you do want to give me like a hit of dopamine from my wish list, there's a bunch of Warhammer stuff on there right now. Because yeah, there just is. So yeah, if that's something that you're interested in giving me, it ranges from like a bit over $150 all the way down to like $40-ish, I think, is the cheapest one that's on there. Yeah, I think there's something for $40. Yeah, there's a Mechanicum Infantry for $44.20. So that is the price range of the Warhammer stuff that's on the wish list. Because you know what? Sometimes I like to paint little guys. Or little guys, you know, it varies. And they can see you again, Maddie. I've taken this off of the Only Me camera. So, let's see. Send $150 in rice.
I've pulled up chat. I'm reading some. For like polls and that tagging people is annoying on mobile.
Vandalia 1998 says, have you 3D printed different Dapper avatars? That is a great question. Let me go get a 3D print of my main Dapper avatar that is over there. I will be right back. So just to, give me a second.
The other nerdy thing I've been doing is I've been taking an improv class on Thursday nights that is improv for RPGs. It's really cool. It's taught by Amy Vorpahl and Dave Hill and Douglas. I forget his last name, but he's a really good improviser. And that's been a really great class. I've been enjoying that a lot. I've been learning a lot about more dramatic as opposed to comedic improv. Yeah. So that's good. Oh wait, hello chat.
Okay. So, Maddie, I'm going to go back to the me being big for a little bit while I show
Okay.
off this.
Fine.
I know, right? So this is a 3D print of my my main avatar. You can see. Got some random ass rocks for fun. Actually, it's for mostly for balance. But yeah, that's on a resin printer. It's Elegoo Mars Pro, if I remember correctly.
Nice. Oh, you have an extra support that's still stuck to him. Oh no, that's your tie.
Yeah, that's my tie.
My bad.
Yeah. The tie that is actually like something like 30 times thicker on this model, this version of the model, than it is on the model that I actually use.
Yeah, because otherwise it would snap off immediately.
Yeah, it would barely even print. I think it was sub-pixel in size if I didn't increase it hugely.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
Oof.
for $5, Larper says there are a number of STL files on the internet that approximate Warhammer models. Yes, there are. Now, one thing is, I would like to be able to, if I get some Warhammer stuff, to bring it into the Games Workshop store, which is the nearest place that has tables that are available for games. And if I bring in too much 3D printed stuff, they're just going to kick me out. So, that is one of the things. You can usually get away with stuff like, a 3D printed base, or like, if you have like custom shoulder pauldrons for your Space Marines or whatever, and you just 3D printed those. Usually don't care that much about that because you're still buying the Games Workshop model. But walking into a Games Workshop store with a 3D printed army is sort of like walking into McDonald's with a bunch of like a Whopper meal, and then sitting in McDonald's and eating a Whopper meal. And it's like, they're probably going to kick you out if you just bring a Whopper into McDonald's and sit down and start eating it. Because like the dining room is for people who buy their food, not for people who bring in outside food and just eat it there. And that doesn't mean that I won't 3D print any models. I will say I did, because I was curious, I did buy some recasts once, and Games Workshop guys did not notice they were recasts. I skipped Carrie Bronson's super chat. Oh my goodness. Borg Emporium, yes, I did mention Sheep It during the break. So let me see what the Carrie Bronson super chat is. Oh, I did! You're an AdMech player? No wonder you're both broke and stressed out. So I actually don't have an AdMech army. And the thing I was citing is actually a Legions Imperialis Mechanicum, not Adeptus Mechanicus infantry box. So the Mechanicum infantry box has, I'm just like going to click on it. Let's see. It has 2 Archmagos Prime on Abeyance, 2 Myrmidon Secular Hosts, 2 Tech Priest Auxilia, 4 Usurax Cohorts, 4 Myrmidon Destructor Hosts, 8 Thalax Cohorts, 10 Tech Thrall Covenant, and 32 Legions Imperialis 25mm round bases, obviously. And that's for $45. That's because it's tiny, right? These are epic scale. And so these are 6mm is basically the size of a Space Marine on the scale. So, yeah. It's also like the game where like a Reaver Titan is about this tall instead of like too tall for me to show you on screen. And where a Reaver Titan costs you like $65 rather than like $1,000. You wanted the 40k scale Reaver? Because yeah, it's a lot.
I fundamentally don't understand Warhammer, is what I'm learning.
Okay, Maddie, you buy little plastic guys.
Yeah.
Paint them.
Yeah.
Then you put them into an army, and the army has like point costs for each little guy. And so you have a point total that you're trying to make your army up to, right? So like you'll be like, oh, this guy has 15 points. I'm going to add him in, right? And then you and your
Okay.
opponent have an army that can't exceed your point limit, but it can go under. That's fine. You know, like, so if you're like, oh, this is a 2,000 point game, your list might actually have like 1,987 points. And like, I don't have anything to do with those last, 13 points. So just whatever, it's fine.
Mhm.
And then basically you play a very dumbed down version of like a RPG combat system where your guys have rules for their stats and their weapons have stats, and you decide the outcome by rolling dice when they do stuff.
Okay.
And then there are usually objectives. So like you'll be like, all right, there's different spots on the table that we're playing on, and if you get guys onto them, you can score points while they're there. And other
Okay.
guys get, your opponent tries to push them off of that or kill them or get to those points first. And you can have, other like secret objective cards where it's like, oh, I get this many extra points if I kill your general. And then when you do it, you reveal that, see, I got those extra points. Stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But the first step
Okay,
is...
so what I heard you say
Okay.
is the more money you spend, the more likely you are to win?
So to a certain point, in that, if you don't buy models that will let you get to that point value, or that are actually like forming a good army, then yeah, you're probably not going to win. But on the other hand, there is a cap to that, right? Like, you're not going to win more because you spent $12,000 than someone who only spent, like the minimum to get a good army.
What's the minimum to get a good army?
It depends slightly on which army it is, but it's going to be it's for an actual Warhammer 40k or Age of Sigmar. It's going to be at least several $100s.
Okay.
However,
I make that face, and I've got a couple Magic Commander decks that are
see
worth over 100 each. But
yeah, and also it depends on how big of a game you want to play. So like, if you and your buddy are like, well, we're going to play a 1,000 point game, you can play a 1,000 point game with like a starter set for like you and your buddy go in on it together, and then you each get like a few more boxes, and that might be like 150 each.
Okay.
So like, it's one of those things where like, as the amount of money that you spend goes up, most of what happens is that you end up playing bigger games.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and when I say that, like, you can buy this $800 model, the thing is, those are actually not very good in terms of in-game effectiveness.
Okay. That's just, now we just like the shiny model.
Right. You're buying a display piece at that point. A gigantic display piece, but it's mostly a display piece. Because the problem is, when you take a Titan in Warhammer 40k,
yeah,
whatever you point them at is going to die. But you can't do that to too many things per turn. And it's not actually that hard for people to destroy you.
Okay.
So, like, and also, that's going to be almost the entirety of your army, because those cost so many points to take on the battlefield, that people basically don't do it outside of, like, not competitive games, but, like, sort of spectacle type games that are just there for show, for people to show up and be like, oh, look at the giant game, and we got Titans, and that's cool. But, like, for your actual, like, yeah, we're going to go down to the store, or we're going to go to the tournament, people aren't taking Titans.
Gotcha.
Also, I think I missed a milestone chat from Guptu3. I feel like I didn't, but maybe I did. It's possible. I'm scrolling up. I'm trying to find it, Guptu. I don't want to miss your chat. You say it was silly, but that's not a good reason for me to miss it. But I'm scrolling really far back. I'm not seeing anything from you, Guptu. Oh, wait, no, here it is. Okay, Guptu3 for 39 months. It was at the end. I thought it was way higher up. You wouldn't download a Space Marine. You mean again? Yeah. Let's see, LARPer Nurse. Oh, no, I read that one. So here's one thing. Legions Imperialis does actually have rules for models that could easily exist, but don't currently, as far as I know. Like, I don't believe currently that they have Space Marines with heavy bolters. And so if you wanted a Space Marine with a heavy bolter, right now, your only option is to 3D print a tiny little Space Marine. By doing what they did, which is basically just scaling down the 3D models that they have, that they turn into their sprues for Legions Imperialis. Because it's pretty obvious that the Legions Imperialis sprues are just, we took the Lehman Russ kit, and we shrank it. Like, there you go, now you have a Legions Imperialis epic scale Lehman Russ. Or whatever other tank or infantry model or whatever. Yep.
Okay.
I would actually say Warhammer is probably less pay to win than Magic is.
Okay.
Because that's actually why I quit Magic very early on, is because I realized unless I kept buying decks with the new expansions, I wasn't going to be able to keep winning. Because they were going to keep adding new special rules that I wouldn't be able to counter without the new cards.
Gotcha.
Whereas, while it's not 100% the case,
Yeah.
like if you buy a Space Marine Land Raider, you now have a Space Marine Land Raider. They're not going to come out, they might come out with a new Space Marine Land Raider, but you get to use those rules with your old Space Marine Land Raider, because it's still a Space Marine Land Raider. It might be the old model, but it's going to have the same rules. And so when they update the rules for old models, which they do all the time, you just get to use the new rules. Even if they release a new model that you don't have, but you have the old version of that same model, you still get to keep using it.
Okay.
So there is that. Yeah, which means like there are people who are playing Warhammer with armies that they assembled in the 80s.
Okay.
So I mean,
That's cool.
Yeah. In fact, there are some cool models from the 80s. They're very different in tone. They're much goofier. But you know, I personally like the Marnius Calgar taking a dump image from the 80s. Because Marnius Calgar is supposed to be this big important guy, and like the initial artwork that we get of him is just him on a chair with his legs spread and like leaning forward a little bit, and it's like that just looks like he's taking a dump. That's
amazing.
Why is Marnius Calgar taking a dump?
Are you aware of the Spanish tradition of including the rogue pooper in your nativity scene?
No, but now I feel like if I do another nativity scene, maybe I should.
It's spectacular. And I was like, went to Christmas markets in Spain, and everybody was selling. Man, you could get like Hello Kitty pooping. I don't know why. I feel like there's a language barrier or something, but in Spain, you include in your nativity scene a random guy off to the side taking a dump.
Hey, go for it, Spain. Jester, who's been a member for 22 months, is at the touchball level, says, where can I download a car, a house, asking for a friend? Well, so you can't really download a real one, but if you go to like any of the various STL like shops or like depositories or whatever they're called, so there's like I think Pulse 3D, Yegi. Basically, if you just search for the thing that you want STL for, and then you put .stl at the end of it, it'll come up.
But I think the question was, where can I download a house for me to live in?
You can't really, unfortunately.
However, they do 3D print houses now, so in theory...
Yeah, but at that point, you're going to have to get the gigantic industrial scale 3D printer that can print a 3D house.
Yeah.
Which your home 3D printer isn't going to be one of those.
Aw, man.
I know, it's disappointing. Yeah. Let's see. LARPer Nurse, who's been a member for 4 months and is at the Amulet level, says, I don't think you saw, but I'm the one who got the Steam key earlier. Awesome, LARPer Nurse. Well, I hope that you enjoy it. Space Marine is a really great game. I played a lot of the original Space Marine on my Xbox 361. I think it was a 360 game. And yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. It shows its age a bit, right? But like, still, great times. The orcs are hilarious. Yeah, it's really good stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Is there anything else? They make destructible little green men units. That would be cool. So there are orcs, and orcs have a smaller form called a Gretchen or Grot, and you can take those in an orc army. You have to take a runt herd with them, who's an orc that keeps them in line. Although actually the Gretchen are actually smarter than the orcs, but since Orc Society has a size and strength based hierarchy, the Gretchen are always much lower on the totem pole than any of the orcs, because despite the fact that they're smarter, they're much smaller, and when they get out of line, the orcs tend to eat them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of orcs, over on my actual play channel, we finished airing. There's a 3-episode arc of a game called Big Gay Orcs, which I had so much fun running. I got people to cry at my table playing Big Gay Orcs, and I feel great about that. That is a super fun game. The premise is you have like an an outpost of orcs in a full last stand situation, they're all gonna die by morning, right? And we know this. But the game has a mechanic, like instead of health points or hit points, your health is measured in hope, right? And the only way to regain hope is to sneak off and make out with somebody.
I want to point out that the orcs in Warhammer don't have any sex or sexuality. They reproduce by releasing spores.
Huh.
Yeah, they're actually fungus.
Huh.
Yeah.
So they couldn't play big gay orcs.
I mean, they could play. They just couldn't
I guess-
be big gay orcs because they don't even have sex.
Well, I
lives.
guess in theory they
Or-
could they make out if they wanted to?
I guess, but I don't imagine that they would want to. That's too close to trying to eat the other one, and they would just do that.
No.
Let's see. Kent Jeffrey of Aramathea Halstead says, "What the hell are you talking about? I'm taking those plastic green toys of soldiers. Oh, the little yeah, okay. Probably could do some miniature Warhammer pyrotechnics. So like if I remember correctly, there is actually a war game that is designed to be used with the plastic army men. I don't know where you would get it. I don't know what the rules are, but as far as I know, there is actually someone like designed a game specifically for those. I believe there's also a tabletop war game that's specifically designed for Lego. I have actually also seen someone use Legos that have been converted into Warhammer models to play Warhammer.
That's fun.
So that was fun. Yeah, that was fun. It was a gimmick thing, but like it was still fun.
Yeah, gimmick things are fun like for 2 hours.
Well, that's about how long it takes to play a game of Warhammer.
There you go. Well, that's like the game Scots and Cats. It's super gimmicky, it's silly, it's stupid, and it takes 2 hours, and then you're done. Like,
Lubalar says, so you're telling me that Warhammer orcs are mushrooms? Well, technically no, because the mushroom is the fruiting body of a fungus, and not all fungi have mushroom-like fruiting bodies. But also, in another way, in a much less technical way, yes. Yes, I am telling you that.
ooh. Also, I just thought of something. Can I? Yeah, I bet I can get it. I was gonna maybe show you guys. Do you guys want to see some real science, some preliminary results? I included in my NSF postdoc proposal the day before the government shut down, so who knows when somebody's going to read my proposal?
I mean, I would, although we are about to wrap things up, so we have to make it relatively fast.
Okay. Well, why? Okay. I'm gonna pull up. I've got to pull up my. I use Overleaf for LaTeX.
I'm not sure I have a great way to share this with people.
Okay. If I drop the image to you in Discord,
I would have to sit there and download it, then add it as a source.
Okay.
Which
never
is
mind.
possible. Sorry. How about this, Maddie? What are you up to in the next week or so that people should know about?
Geez, nothing. I don't think so. I don't think I have anything going on.
Hey,
Because I don't know if we're playing Friday.
well, we're not playing Star Trek Endurance, but we might play something else. And even if we're not going to play something, I'll at least do an art stream, and you're welcome to show up to that.
Amazing. I'm very bad at art.
Well, if you pay enough attention, maybe you can learn how to use a blender to make art.
Okay. I know how to use a blender.
But do you know how to use Blender 3D?
Smoothies.
Ooh, I made a smoothie not that long ago. I made a strawberry and peach smoothie with flax seeds.
Nice. But over on OK Roll, we're gonna have one more series drop this year. It's called Witches in the Woods. It's a very cozy game about defeating evil by like building community and stuff. Not that I've been having a theme.
I'm gonna say it seems weirdly relevant.
Seems weirdly relevant, but I was really excited because I got so I have 4 players in that game. One is Allison. If you guys watch any OK Roll, Allison's my like OK Roll person. And she's been in like every game so far. Except Big Gay Orcs. She didn't want to play Big Gay Orcs. Not her jam.
That's okay. Not everything is made for everyone.
Yeah, everyone else in that game, my other 3 players were all like women over the age of 65, right? Who had never played a TTRPG before. And in that game we explore a little bit of the theme of how society can like ignore older women, even if they're incredibly powerful. And it was so much fun. One of the players is actually a priest, and so I'll let you guys guess on who it is. She's a priest at my church, and I was like, I need you to play, and she was like, yeah, okay, this sounds great.
Nice.
So that's not releasing this week, but it's releasing soon. So that's all I got. That's all I got coming up, other than like being a human.
Ray Navas says that's a lot more health responsible than when I use my blender. We're talking about the smoothie, which is to blend up an entire Ben & Jerry's pint with milk and drink it. Hey, you know what?
Oh,
We all got to get... We have to take care of ourselves in the way that works.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're all
Self-care.
surviving.
Yeah, mostly.
Mostly.
All right, so what's coming up for this channel? So on today's Tuesday, so let's see. On Thursday, I am releasing a supercut. This is the Walter Veith supercut. It's over 4 hours long, if I remember correctly. So like, yeah, bring snacks. It's going to be a long one. Then on Friday, there will be a stream over in Top Hats Off at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what it will be. Zerolon is interested in testing on a TTRPG, so we might do that day. We might do a different TTRPG thing, or we might just do an art stream. I have all sorts of things that I need to do for art. So this one actually might be like a character creation art stream, which I don't do a whole lot of, but I do sometimes. So we might see me making a character. Let's see. Then on Saturday, the plan is to be back with Kip and Vishanti to take a look at Brian Thomas, or to not take a look at Brian Thomas, depending on how much you guys make us not. And the more the better on that one, actually, because Brian Thomas is an insufferable man. Trying to be polite. Then on next Tuesday, we should be doing Jackson with Jackson Wheat, who is in fact the co-author of The Rocks Were There Volume 1, which is available on Amazon, so go pick that up if you want. It is a gigantic tome. Even if you don't want to read it, you can use it as a self-defense item by just throwing it at people, and that will almost certainly stop them in their tracks. And also, you don't have to register big, thick books. So there's no background checks for books, so, you know. Yeah. At least as far as I know, there isn't. Maybe there's a book show loophole that you can exploit.
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody. If you are interested, over on my Discord, we're going to be watching Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, which is the penultimate Showa-era Godzilla movie. And it's also the introduction of Mechagodzilla, who becomes a recurring character throughout the Godzilla franchise, well past the Showa era.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a good night. I'll see you in a month.
Or maybe on Friday.
Or maybe on Friday. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out.
All right. And furthermore, ICE must be abolished.
Hey, before you leave, I just want to take a second to thank my patrons and channel members, especially those pledging $20 or above. Ben Tovand, Tapioca Weasel, Max Cherry, North Texas Fossils, John Ackerman, Sphincter of Doom, Regios, Landon, Ian Chen, Eleron Teller, Phil Gavara, Kelvin Brostic Van Manen, Joshua Geese, Wallace, Dan Sheedy, The Plastic Mouse, Arrow Dodger, and Gordon Loves Science. It's because of my channel members and patrons whom you're seeing on screen that this channel can stay afloat. Without you, it would all shut down. If you want to join the team, there's a link to join the channel below this video, and there's a link to join the Patreon in the description. On the Patreon, you can get a 15% discount for pledging annually, and either way, you get early access to virtually all of my scripted videos months before they come out for the general public. Thanks for watching.